Good evening and welcome to the 2021 Apegs Awards ceremony. I know all of you have traveled a long way to get here, perhaps from your dining room table to the living room, and we're glad that you were able to make it. With the COVID-19 pandemic, we were unable to hold our usual awards ceremony and the gala banquet, but are still pleased to be able to honor our 2021 award recipients all the same through this online ceremony. Congratulations to them up front, as this is about them and celebrating their achievements. The Honourable Fred Bradshaw, Minister responsible for the Engineering and Geoscience Professions Act, will be bringing greetings on behalf of the province of Saskatchewan. Born in Arborfield in 1951, Fred later moved to Carrot River, where he still lives. In 1976, he married his wife Terry, and they have 3 children. First elected in November 2007, Fred was re-elected in 2011, 2016, and 2020 provincial elections. Fred has served as Deputy House Leader, Legislative Secretary to the Minister of the Environment, Forest Management, and Legislative Secretary to the Ministry of Energy, Heavy Oil and Northern Resource Development. He was also Chair of the Standing Committee on Intergovernmental Affairs and Justice, and a member of the Economy, House Services, Privileges, Private Bills, and Public Accounts Committees. Fred currently serves as the Minister of Highways and Minister responsible for the Saskatchewan Water Security Agency, as well as the Minister responsible for the Engineering and Geoscience Professions Act. Even with his busy schedule, he was able to make time for us and bring greetings on behalf of the Government of Saskatchewan.
Good evening. On behalf of Premier Scott Moe and the Government of Saskatchewan, I am pleased to be celebrating the excellence in engineering and geoscience with all of you. I appreciate this opportunity to share in your membership's accomplishments. This year's highways budget contains $830 million in highways investments that protect citizens by making our highways safer. These investments will build additional capacity, so we are positioned for a renewed economic growth once the pandemic is in the rearview mirror. Construction projects will be a key effort in our recovery from the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. More than $520 million of this budget will go to major capital projects like twinning highways, constructing passing lanes, and widening highways. $44.4 million will go towards upgrading and replacing bridges and culverts. And we will continue to prioritize safety at numerous intersections throughout the province. This, of course, means we rely on the consistent and thorough expertise of professional engineers and geoscientists. As an exporting province, we must get our goods to market as safely and efficiently as possible. Professional engineers and geoscientists have a vital impact on industries like agriculture, construction, environment, forestry, manufacturing, mining utilities, transportation, and resources. Thank you for making our continued success possible. Tonight, as you recognize the achievements of the best in your fields, know that you have as well the gratitude of our province. And on behalf of Premier Scott Moe and the Saskatchewan Government, I would like to thank you for your good work and offer congratulations to tonight's winners. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Bradshaw, for being a part of our ceremony this evening. Unfortunately, we are unable to celebrate our 2020 award recipients with our usual pomp and ceremony, so we want to take a few minutes tonight to recognize those that were honored in 2020 as Apegs Award recipients.
Without the support of the faculty at the university, we wouldn't be able to do the work we do today and inspire the youth that we do. So I just want to take a moment and say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for your continued support. I'm so, so grateful.
It encourages me to keep doing what I'm doing at work, continue to volunteer for the community, and continue to lead where I can.
In an age of skepticism, Michael's quiet and professional voice speaks volumes in a call for action.
I'm truly blessed to have a very supportive family. Thank you for your unconditional love, support, and encouragement, and Sat Shri Akal.
Thank you to APEGS for this award. Thank you to Tara for nominating me. It was a very pleasant surprise, and I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, I accept this award with a great appreciation of the high honor bestowed on me. I recognize the association as the foremost of the science organizations in the province, and therefore consider this myself to be highly honored.
I'd like to thank the association for choosing me for this award. I'd like to thank the awards committee. It's always special to be recognized by your peers.
Again, congratulations to all the 2020 award recipients. Dwayne Gelowitz, APEGS Director of Engineers Canada Board, and Kevin Anstill, APEGS Director of Geoscience Canada Board, will now announce APEGS members who are the 2021 fellowship recipients from their respective organizations.
My name is Dwayne Gelowitz, and I'm APEGS Director to Engineers Canada, and I have the distinct pleasure of introducing this year's FEC recipients. The Engineers Canada Fellowships were created in 2007 to identify individuals, both engineers and non-engineers, who have contributed significantly to the engineering profession, and to create a group of professionals who continue to contribute to and advance the recognition of the profession. Fellowships may be conferred upon engineers who have given noteworthy service in one or more of the following areas: acted as President of Engineers Canada, or as Chair of its Accreditation Board or its Qualifications Board. Acted as President of a constituent member of Engineers Canada, in our case, past presidents of APES and APEGS. Served the engineering profession in a volunteer capacity with Engineers Canada and or its constituent members for at least 10 years, or served in a senior staff capacity with Engineers Canada or one of its constituent members for at least 7 years. The honorary fellowship may be conferred upon non-engineers who meet the same criteria by having acted as president of a constituent member of Engineers Canada, served in a volunteer capacity, or as senior staff category. Those receiving this honor today will receive a certificate and pin, and will be awarded the privilege of the use of the designation Engineers Canada Fellow, FEC, or Honorary Engineers Canada Fellow, FGC Honorary. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce the members who are receiving the FEC today. Congratulations to this year's FEC recipients: Robert Cochran, Peng; Catherine Griffith, Peng; E. Kwai Kwe, Peng; Jessica Terrio, Peng; Andavirapan Thirunavukarasu, Peng; Sebastian P. Walrand, Peng. Congratulations on this outstanding honor and your contributions to the profession. Thank you, and Kevin, you're next.
Geoscientists Canada Fellowships were started in 2013 and are designed to honour individuals who have given noteworthy service to the geoscience profession in a number of categories. Geoscientists who have assumed office as President of Geoscientists Canada, a geoscientist who's assumed office as Chair of the Canadian Geoscience Standards Council, a geoscientist who's assumed office as President of one of the constituent associations, like APEGS, served the geoscience profession in a volunteer capacity for at least 10 years on Geoscientists Canada committees or with the constituent associations, served in a senior staff capacity with Geoscientists Canada or one of the constituent associations, all provided noteworthy service to the geoscience profession in another capacity. In addition, we also honour non-geoscientists who have provided noteworthy service to the geoscience profession in a number of these categories. Being bestowed with this honour means that these dedicated individuals have the privilege of using the designation Fellow of Geoscientists Canada or Honorary Geoscientist Canada Fellow. And this evening I'm really happy to congratulate the three recipients, two of which have been awarded the Fellowship of Geoscientists Canada, and those are Corey Bellick, PGO, and Erin Moss Tressel, PEng PGO FEC. Many congratulations to those two recipients. And last but not least, the Honorary Geoscientist Canada Fellowship goes this year to your outgoing APEGS President, Drew Lockwood, PEng FEC. So many congratulations to the three recipients, all of whom I've had the pleasure of working with over the years. Well done.
Congratulations to the 2021 fellowship recipients. And now for the main event, the presentation of the 2021 APEGS Awards. First off, we'll start with the Friend of the Professions Award.
Ron's been working in the road building industry since the early 60s. He started his career with the Ministry of Highways, and he's really become an expert in his field. In the road building industry in Saskatchewan, you'd be hard pressed to find someone that hasn't worked with Ron or learnt from Ron or crossed paths with him in some way.
Out of school and worked on a farm for the fall, and I was looking for a job, and at that time highways were into a big expansion. They had a very small budget, and the government had changed, and they were increasing by 3 or 4 times, so they were looking for lots of people. And they advertised for people to work in the engineering field, surveying, soil testing, etc. When I started there, they offered lots of technical training and high quality technical training, and they had really top-notch instructors. They had people like Carl Sauer and Wayne Clifton and Art Bergen and George Mollard, JLM Scott. These people were all pioneers and leaders in their field in Western Canada and beyond. And we were exposed to that. We were allowed to learn at the foot of those people.
Ron's been an amazing mentor to me, and I know he's been an amazing mentor to other people. Engineers, geoscientists.
Lots of people in the engineering field tend to have quite long careers, maybe longer or later in life. They believe in what they do, they still like doing it, so they keep on doing it.
If I have the passion Ron has for his work towards anything at his age, I think I'd be a lucky person.
I'd like to thank or appreciate APEGS for having such an award and selecting me for it, and Aryan Farhani for sure for nominating me.
Congratulations, Ron. It was well deserved. Next up, we'd like to present the Promising Member Award.
My dad is a contractor, works for highways, and he used to manage highways and respond to emergencies. Seeing him growing up, responding to those emergencies, I want to be someone who wanted to fix those issues, and I feel like it's a natural progression for me, and I become an engineer.
At the University of Regina, he did really well in his program and published a number of very important studies. And in addition to that, he's also very heavily involved with the student body.
During my graduate study, I was involved in the Graduate Student Association, where I was a vice president for student affairs. So part of my roles was to arrange, to learn about what issues students are facing and how can we bring those issues to up in the chain. Sometimes there are powers in simplicity, like you need to understand by working with different level of people Like how can you make things simple and make things, I guess, easier for everyone to understand as well, and know your surrounding. Everybody has their own style of learning, and everybody has their own difficulties and own strengths.
After he completed his degree, I believe maybe in 2013, 2014, he actually joined the Water Security Agency.
Recently, I moved into a new role as a manager of geotechnical engineering in this year, and where I lead a group of engineers and technologists. My goal is to be a technical expert and become a leader that helps others to be successful in their life.
MTS is continued to try to learn more new things.
There are lots of opportunities out there if you work hard and if you kind of be positive about things. I think Saskatchewan has been a great place for us to live.
It is his drive for excellency.
In my observation, we need leaders in engineering, more leaders who has those skills, like they are emotionally intelligent, they are empathetic to people, and they want to help others to grow.
Congratulations, Imtiaz. All the best. Next up, we will continue with the Environmental Excellence Award.
Project was successful was because we had our engineers and our biologists together in the field, you know, getting their boots wet and exploring.
The Upper Capel River is home to multiple species at risk, both amphibians, birds, as well as fish.
Plant growth in the channel is throttling the flow, reducing the flow capacity from 14 cubic meters a second down to about 3 in mid-July and that.
So there's a potential through conventional engineering approaches to have a huge footprint and a large impact on the environment.
My canoeing experience is on the Torch River north of Nipawin. Over the last 40 years had given me a very good idea. Following design information in Newberry's Habitat Restoration Manual, I believed in it completely because those are things that I saw while canoeing.
Lyle and I really worked together to evaluate the existing conditions, identify what were the problems that needed to be rectified, identify the environmental features that needed to be protected, and how do we blend our needs with the desires to protect the environment.
One of the big things that really worked out well for us was being in contact with the landowners and having them understand what you're doing and wanting it, and having good, clear communications with the landowners.
So by looking at what works in nature and emulating that, we were able to find a solution that enhances the ecology.
To the province, it means stability in terms of their water supply. For the environmentalists, it means an improved environment, improved water quality, and an enhanced fishery in that river and in Buffalo Pound Lake.
We didn't fix all the erosion issues but we definitely slowed down the amount of erosion that occurs along the banks and that.
What was at first perceived to be purely an engineering project was funded by Fisheries and Oceans as a fish habitat restoration. What we want to achieve isn't incompatible. Well, we'll just go work with engineers.
Congratulations, Lyle. The next award is the Exceptional Engineering Geoscience Project Award.
My name is Wendell Starblanket. I'm from the Starblanket Cree Nation on the Wapimustosis or White Calf Indian Reserve. It was started up by myself with a chance meeting with Orly McPherson of McPherson Engineering in Regina.
Our homes should be designed to promote indoor environment quality, and indoor environment quality includes thermal comfort as well as air quality. But Wendell and many of his residents, his community members, simply don't have that.
It would cause respiratory problems and cause us to cough and sniffle. And not only that, it gave us headaches.
This motivated the project team to install passive radiant heating systems on 2 homes in Star Blanket Cree Nation. And following the project, when we looked at the data, we found that temperatures increased, relative humidity levels decreased, and the occupants of the space were more comfortable.
We were able to stay in the homes for longer periods of time. Our headaches disappeared. Our allergies slowly disappeared. Our respiratory problems, our breathing became much more easier and better. So Radiant Link helped us sustain a better, healthier living environment.
The Blanket of Warmth project brought together 3 important entities: industry, academia, and community, where we worked alongside one another to accomplish shared goals. Compassionate professionalism and social sustainability are possible.
They've become friends over the years of the family and of the community, and we thank them for all that they do, for having the initiative and for having the heart to want to help improve the lives of people.
Thank you to Wendell Star Blanket and Sonia Roy for believing that we can do better.
Congratulations, McPherson Engineering, and to the entire project team that contributed to the Blanket of Warmth project. Next up, we have the McCannell Award for volunteerism.
The reasons why I nominated Harold is because of 2 things. His years of dedicated services with the local engineering community. Another thing is his overall achievement that he has with the Ministry of Highways.
One of the first moments I could say that I looked at engineering as a profession was a new family moved into our neighborhood, and I learned later on that he was a structural engineer for the construction of the Richardson building, which was then the tallest building in Manitoba. And I was infatuated with just seeing the plans, and then as I was growing up, Lego became a big thing, shall we say. And there were a few other, building sort of toys type of thing that sort of were my influence when I was very young. I stayed with that right through, went into high school, took some drafting, to understand that side of it. Went to University of Manitoba and got my degree from there. And then my employment started right after that with the Ministry of Highways. My role was to supervise a survey crew, some soils or gravel testing staff, and supervise the construction of a road that a contractor, private contractor, or maybe government forces at the time would be building somewhere in Saskatchewan. So I started up in what was then called the Saskatoon district, and my first project was on Highway 312 up by Waka.
He's very comfortable, talking with our students. He's willing to share his experience and expertise.
What I thought, being good for an engineer was being the strong in the math and the sciences, those kind of things. That's just the application, Engineering also involves communication, with whether it's the other people, with their client, or however it is, or even with other people there. But interpersonal skills is a big part of, being an engineer. You're working almost always as a team, shall we say. So you're not an island unto yourself. You're working with others, and so working collaboratively, effectively. You want to have fun because that just makes the day go by much quicker.
A fantastic supporter to our education goal at the university.
We've taught you how to think like engineer. you're now going to go out in the workforce and you're going to have other engineers that teach you how to become a professional engineer.
He's currently serving as the chair of the South Saskatchewan session of the Canadian Society for Civil Engineering.
I was a student member back in my day, back in the 80s. Wasn't involved with it early in my career, but got back into it in the late 90s and been in various roles there and helped host 2 national conferences that we've had here in Regina. So a lot of my volunteer work, shall we say, with professional society has been with the Canadian Society for Civil Engineering.
Harold has a very easygoing personality. You can actually talk to him with quite a lot of different topics, and a lot of time, he's able to share his wisdom.
The best part of being an engineer, it's a fundamental element that I looked at, and it's taken years to realize this. We, as a profession, enable ideas to come to life, shall we say. I'm deeply honored that I'm joining a long list of very worthy candidates that have received this award ahead of me. Many of them are people that I've personally known and do really respect for the work that they've done. A number of them have even been mentors of my early career with the Ministry of Highways. I'd also want to, at this time, acknowledge the support of my family, my wife Anne, my 4 children, Kaylee, Thomas, Dane, and Elliot. I must also acknowledge the many colleagues that have worked beside me as I've gone through my career and through my volunteer work. It really has been a team effort, and the saying is true. Many hands do make the work lighter.
Congratulations, and thanks, Harold, for all your contributions to APEGS. The penultimate award we're giving is the Outstanding Achievement Award.
I nominated Jeff because I think he's a special engineer with incredible technical abilities, and especially in transportation. Honestly, I think Jeff is one of the best in Saskatchewan.
I'm an engineer with Associated Engineering in Prince Albert. Small country upbringing, pretty typical Saskatchewan story there, but one thing that was a little different for me maybe than some is we lived on a farm, but my dad was a mechanic, heavy duty guy, so I spent a lot of time with him and on construction sites, helping fix things, learning a lot about it, meeting a lot of people. So that is some of the earliest kind of fun memories I had was, we'd get to go out and he'd be working on a bulldozer, or we'd go to look at something, and I think that's part of where my lifelong sort of love for construction came from, and a lot of opportunities sprung out of that, and that get to meet a lot of good people there early on, and really from that point, it was pretty connected to the construction business overall.
He specializes in knowing survey, design, materials, the whole package.
While I'm not the oldest guy in this business, I've been in the roadway construction and what's called design business for 30 years or more already, even though I'm only in my 40s. And I think it's given me a lot of chances to see a lot of things, and led me into a path where I started off running equipment and contracting, and did that for a number of years, and then went back to school and did some I was technology diploma, and sort of did that for a number of years and developed some skills there. And I think those are the things that I really draw in when I work with others now and come to site. I think I probably have a pretty good understanding of what people are thinking and what they might be doing. So I make a point of going to talk to people that are actually doing the work, because we can get the odd time accused of just expecting too much, and I think understanding how things work is a big part.
When Jeff comes to site, he calms situations down and he makes decisions that make sense for everyone, for all parties involved to make projects successful.
But I do try to make a point of getting out and connecting with people. And you know, part of why most of us got in this business is we like to solve problems and deal with issues and things and try to find unique challenges. And I think, you know, getting out and experiencing things like that in the field is important. So I strive to do that.
Honestly, I think Jeff is one of the best in Saskatchewan when it comes to transportation.
I love being involved in construction, and I think the best part for me is to have a part in shaping the world around us, and that might sound kind of cheesy, but you know, even over my career, like I've had the opportunity to, you know, get the plans worked out, figure out design for a bunch of the 4-laning in Saskatchewan and subdivisions in a number of communities, and so you get to sort of make your mark on the world and sort of leave something behind.
Jeff has ingrained himself in Prince Albert here and has grown our office to be extremely reputable and respectable.
Been lucky enough to actually help grow a couple of different operations, and you know, at Associated in Prince Albert, I consider it an accomplishment, and that, you know, basically started with me and you know, one other, and then it was really just myself, and managed to grow that pretty functional group, largest you know, multidiscipline consultant in Prince Albert now. So, and there's close to 20 staff. So I think I consider it an accomplishment, and you know, it's something I've always wanted to do. So I'm fortunate to have the chance to do it.
I'd like to see him stay in Prince Albert for another 5, 10, 15 years.
Through being in this business, I've had the chance now to work in you know, over half the provinces in Canada, and done a lot of work up north. You know, got to see lots of the country that other people just don't see through that, and I think, you know, that's one of the things I truly love about it, the whole business. I wanted to express my thanks on receipt of this Outstanding Achievement Award. A few people that I want to specifically thank in this, my nominator particularly, so I appreciate the kind words. The association, APEGS, number of my mentors in life, and I won't mention those specifically, but I've had a few, from contractors to other engineers, and you know, and last but not least, my family and my parents, and some of the good guidance they've given me, and my wife and 2 kids on the support and everything that you've helped me with. Thank you very much.
Thanks again, Jeff, for your contributions to engineering. Our final and most distinguished award is the Brian Eckel Distinguished Service Award.
I nominated Dave McDougall for this award because he embodies basically what the Brian Eckel Award stands for. It's awarded to someone who's excelled in 3 different areas: accomplishments in the profession, engagement in public education and outreach, and also service to the community. Dave's done all of these things, and he continues some of them to this day.
I guess at school, because we were lucky enough to have a geography teacher who was also a geologist. And I remember bringing back from my summer holidays some rocks I'd found at the seaside. What you do when you're a kid, you collect fossils, you look at minerals. You do that again when you're a geologist, but it's more serious. You do a lot of mapping, and it gets more technical. It also allows you to do open air work, and that's the part I enjoy. So I went to work in 1969, a year before I graduated, for Canadian Johns Manville. And then I went back to work for them afterwards when I graduated. The nice thing was they trusted us as new graduates, And not only that, they mentored us very well.
Like, he's been a staunch supporter of APEGS, and he's encouraged and educated fellow geoscientists about getting involved with geoscience outreach and professional development. I believe that as a result of this, he's really helped to raise the profile of geoscientists within the broader APEGS community.
I started looking for work in Canada because I had my Canadian passport. And just by chance, there was a job in Regina. And out of the 3 jobs I applied for, they hired me straight away. Said, come on over. And then I was about 9 months through that work when a permanent job came up in a different part of the department. And I took that. And that was my foot in the door, as you'd say, to the Geological Survey.
On the professional side, one of the many projects Dave has worked on over the years has been the 250,000 scale metallogenic maps.
I was given a fairly mundane job to begin with, clearing a backlog of assessment files. And after that, I was promised a job compiling what they call metallogenic maps. And those are not just mineral deposit maps, they have an interpretation side where you try and say, well, these deposits are actually like, and then you give an example somewhere else in the world that gives people a clue to what the potential might be.
He headed up his own geological field projects for the survey in various northern parts of the province, all the way from Hanson Lake to Moore Lakes. And most of these projects had an economic focus. He authored or co-authored as part of this 20 professional reports and maps. All of these have stood the test of time and would have served as an excellent starting point for any exploration company wanting to get a head start in a specific area.
The detail matters, and not only the detail, but the interpretation. And there's always something new to discover.
Another very important contribution that Dave has made over the years is happened also in the late 1980s when he was given the responsibility to teaching the Prospector School in Orange for several years.
We lost our education officer, so I inherited some of his work, and one part of that was the Prospector School in northern Saskatchewan, and I really enjoyed that. We taught in the community college in Orange, and it included things like blasting with dynamite, which they really enjoyed. That was their highlight, and I guess mine too. I actually got my blasting certificate.
After retiring, Dave has remained quite active in the geological community, most recently having volunteered for APEGS, serving on the planning committee for the annual general meeting and for the professional development day.
Like a lot of people say, retirement is a busy time, and I got involved with a lot of societies, and so I was able to do more work. And it was a great time to mix with young engineers and find out what they do. Most of them were only just starting their careers. And they were so enthusiastic. And I think as an older person, you need that kind of exposure to enthusiasm again, later in your career or when you're retired even.
Dave, it makes me very happy that the committee has chosen you to be the 2021 Brian Eckel Award recipient, and I want to congratulate you for that achievement from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for being the social glue to the Saskatchewan Geological Society and for always having been the social glue to the Saskatchewan Geological Survey. You're a very worthy recipient of the Brian Eckel Award.
It's with great pleasure I accept this award. And it came as a very great surprise to hear about this. I received a nice letter from Andrew Lockwood, the president of the association. But prior to that, I'd heard through the grapevine, actually through the Geological Society, that I had been given this award. Gavin Jensen, who sits on council, had pursued the matter in council, and Ralph Maxiner was my sponsor, and all totally out of the blue. I've always enjoyed being at the annual general meeting and seeing other people receive awards, never thinking I'd be in this position myself. So once again, thank you to APEGS, and thank you to my sponsor, Ralph Maxiner, and to Gavin Jensen, who sits on council.
Congratulations, Dave. Very well deserved, and appreciate all the efforts on behalf of the volunteerism and the engineering that you've done over your years of service. I'd like to congratulate all our award winners and thank them for the service they've provided to the public over the last year. Next up, I'd like to welcome President-elect Kristen Dar.
This concludes tonight's ceremony. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight, and have a great evening. Before we close tonight, please remember that the annual meeting of the association is tomorrow morning and will start promptly at 9 a.m. We look forward to seeing all of you in attendance tomorrow.